Good morning. Hopefully I'm live. Good morning to everybody hanging out. I'm going to give it a second to prime up. Welcome. I'm Shanda Master, the Trailer Park Pundit. Shanda with the C, like a chandelier, I always tell people. Oh, good. Okay, we're live. I see myself. Yay! Good morning. Are you guys coming on over from AM Wake Up? Boy, they did a great show this morning. I remember that interview Steve did. I was so blown away by it. Like, wow, somebody actually got to talk to McAfee. Kind of a crazy ending for him, huh? Makes you wonder what really happened. And we hear you, DC. How's my sound? So I have both channels. I've really been working on getting the kinks out. You know, I'm using Streamlabs, and everybody else is using StreamYards, but we have this other program called Restream.io, which has already like pre-framed shots. So I'm going to try that one out next week and see if it's a little user-friendly. All good. Thanks, DC. God, you guys are such a huge help. Good morning, Kate. I hope it's beautiful in Vancouver this morning. I know it is on the other side of the water. Morning, Jilly. Good morning. So I got a crazy show for you guys today because, yeah, we're going to cover a few things that I've seen in the news, but I've been working on a story for you guys that I see only very a few people talking about on YouTube, which is crazy because normally if there's something on YouTube, everybody piles on, right, and does their version of it. So we're going to jump into the Amanda Rabb's story. Now, this story has got a lot of players, a lot of different avenues that we're going to have to go down, and a lot of different players, so I've broke it all down for you. But basically what this comes down to is a VR company. They're trying to start a treatment program with virtual reality, and some celebrities are involved in this. It kind of goes hand in hand with conservatorships that we're seeing, and or maybe not. You'll see when we get there. And unfortunately, the passing of a young girl who I felt was completely exploited, especially here on YouTube. So we're gonna get into that. Let everybody file in. Good morning, Kinder Kitty. I love that name. That's a great name. So let's see. We'll talk about news first, and then we'll get into the deep dive. So this is going to be a little bit longer show. I kind of did it the same way I did like Epstein or Maxwell. I bring you guys a lot of clips. We'll talk about them, and hopefully by the end of the show, you're going to be interested and go do some research of your own. Because that's what I always say. I'm not going to give you guys my opinion of what I think has happened, but I'm going to give you everything so you can go look, research, and form your own opinion, right? Because we are open-minded. We are free thinkers. Maybe it's me. Oh no, what's the matter? What's the matter? Is there no sound? Jilly, you got problems? Breaking news, shit's bad. Yeah, no shit, DC, right? Every day it's just like, okay, what's next? What's next? So, oh, maybe it'd help if I uncovered my slide deck. You guys could see what the heck is going on here. Boom, there we go. Welcome to the trailer park. So if you want to help me out, I'd say buy me coffee, but you all know I don't drink coffee. You can buy me a joint for when I go to bed. This is my PayPal. PayPal's the best and easiest way to get to me. I've learned that doesn't matter what platform I'm on, they all take their share, but some want to sit on your money for a month or two before they let it go. PayPal, it's pretty instant once they get their cut of it. So I appreciate all of the YouTube donations. The GoFundMe, there's a GoFundMe link in the description below. We're trying to get to DC, and from Seattle to DC is quite a trek for me. So, because I'm 3 hours outside of Seattle too. So it's a major endeavor for me to travel across the country, like it is for anybody else. But I appreciate all of your guys' support. Man, we got some great love on Tuesday night stream for Oz's birthday. Thank you guys so much. And I can't, you guys humble me so much and inspire me to keep going. You know, I really think that a lot of what I've done over the last few years is just because that little extra encouragement from you guys saying, oh, thank you so much. You know, because you question yourself. I have imposter syndrome every day of my life. Like, I'm a junkie. I was a junkie on the streets 10 years ago. You know, I advocate for Kratom, an unconventional way of rehabilitating yourself. So I just kind of felt like I didn't belong in these spaces. And because of you, I do, and I keep going. So thank you so much. Why I'd get kicked out of the Scooby gang. Shaggy, zoinks. Scooby, ruh-roh. Daphne, jeepers. Velma, jinx. Me, well, fuck. I thought that was hilarious because that would totally be me. Journalists who challenge NATO's narratives are now information terrorists. Yes, we talked about this, I want to say on Saturday and Tuesday. If you're pushing back, now they've got you on their die list. Terrible. But we got to keep speaking truth, right? I see a few more people that used to be all on board with the whole Ukraine thing starting to wake up and smell it for what it is. Boy, I wish they would have noticed that, 6 months ago, because this is not how long we've been dumping money into that. I think so. So what's on everybody's mind this morning? Student loan debt relief. As a burner, I have fought for cancellation of student debt for years now. I don't personally have student loan debt because I didn't get to go to school because I watched my mother go $50,000 in debt in the late 80s and early 90s to get a job as a nurse and then burn out. And 10 years later, she's a flagger making more money than when she was a nurse, and she still had student loans. My mom passed a year ago, and she paid every month on her student loans till the day she died. They would literally just take it out of her Social Security check. Student loans is one of the few things that is allowed to come in and hit Social Security. And so it was heartbreaking for me to watch my mom know she was never going to get out of that debt, paying the principal every month, And she more than double paid back what she borrowed, but that's not how the system's set up. The system is set up to bleed you for the rest of your goddamn life. So, $10,000, is it going to help people out? $20,000 on Pell grants? That helps a lot of people out. It really does give a little bit of relief. But is it what we needed? Is it what we've advocated for as progressives? No, not at all. And we'll talk about how the Dems, what they've said to us all these years and pushed back. But I want to talk about this. So Savvy says last I checked, Pell grants are not repaid. At least they weren't when I was an undergrad. How is Biden canceling $20,000 for Pell grants if you don't repay them anyways? Did something change? Now, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to give you my take on it. And here's the thing about Pell grants, because I did actually go back to school and I did take a few Pell grants, but I didn't have to pay those back. And the thing is if you complete a certain average, like I think it's a C average, and you meet all the criterias and jump through the hoops, like you can't miss so many days, and you have to be a good kid. And if you're a good kid at the end of the semester, if you have a Pell grant, I think they waive it. But if you show up late, don't do your work, and you're not applying yourself, and you get below a certain grade point average, I do believe that they can make you pay back some Pell grants. So I'm thinking that's what this is about, but I'm not exactly sure. That's just my opinion on it. I think that's how the Pell grants are coming into this. But yeah, Pell grants absolutely should never have to be paid back. We refuse to help anybody in our own goddamn country, right? I was a single mom at 18 with kids, and to go to school, I knew the debt it would put me in. And not to mention, I had to work on top of going to school, and I did. Well, I was tending bar. All of my kids were in elementary school. I would get out of work at 3:30 in the morning. I would go home. I would sleep till 6 a.m. My first class was at like 7:20 in the next town over, and I would have to get up, drive to school, do my class, and then go back to work. As once class was out, and I had to get kids to school and do that whole thing. And I did that for a whole semester. And thank God it knocked me on my butt and made me realize that, I don't want to take out massive amounts of student loan to burn myself out and put myself into the ground like this. So that's when I kind of made the decision, like, okay, you're just going to have to, work at minimum wage jobs for the rest of your life, because you just can't do this with kids. I couldn't. I tried. But kudos to everybody who does, man. I've seen some amazing super women out there that, get their doctorate while having kids and working full time. That's just amazing. And it's so impressive. And I think that we should give them such accolades. Dude, where's my car? Thanks. I know, this is the most awesome chat. Everybody here is so awesome. I agree with you, dude. Where's my car? That was a good movie, right? Not, but it was funny. I thought it was funny because I'm a stoner and I giggle at that type of stuff. Welcome, Natalie. Welcome to Bunnies. Barbara made it. Who else just dropped in? Check it out. Anyway, so do you guys remember this? Remember just like, I don't know, 6 months ago? When old Pelosi was telling us that the president doesn't have the power to cancel student debt. That's not even in his repertoire. So let's remember.
People think that the president of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress.
And then?
And I don't even like to call it forgiveness because that implies a transgression. It's not to be forgiven. Just freeing people from those obligations. So the question of who gets forgiven, to use the term of art that is out there, is a debate. Do we use whatever money there is for the broadest base of support of those with more people with even less debt or fewer people with more debt?
So well
That's
spoken.
a policy discussion. But the difference between the president can't do it. So that's not even a discussion.
It's not even a discussion.
Not everybody realizes that. But the president can only postpone, delay, but not forgive.
Yeah, only postpone, delay, and not forgive. Okay, well, here we are 6 months later, and I guess they figured it out. You know, how the hell she became speaker. It's like her and Harris, right? They never can complete a coherent sentence as soon as they're at a podium. Yeah, we know how they got where they got. Hey, Alwalski. Hello to Vermont. Hello. Mischievous Manners. Welcome. They gave him the power. Yeah, they gave him the power, right? And why did they do that? Why? Because they knew. Let's see if I can get over there. They knew that they had to give us some crumbs, right? All the progressives. I mean, that was the big thing during Biden's campaign was Bernie's getting on board because of student debt relief. Biden is in backroom talks with the progressives. They're going to cut some, that was what they told us. And that was why a lot of progressives said, I'm voting for Biden. Not this one. I didn't vote for Biden. But that's why a lot did. And so now, as we're coming into the midterms, we see these little crumbs that they're throwing out to us, right? So that way they can demand the vote again, right? Look at everything we gave you. Look what we did for you. That's what's coming. And so, does $10,000 make a huge difference? It does for some people. But when you look at the cost of a higher level university tuition, no. 10 grand, that's what, one semester, maybe. And besides, it was just a Band-Aid. Carla, welcome, long time no see. Yeah, exactly. I just think that this is a Band-Aid. Yet again, another Band-Aid that they're going to say, well, we fixed it. Look, we fixed it, you guys. We did this for you. Now shut up and quit asking. But did they actually fix the problem? What about our children? That's why I was in this fight, because my kids can't afford to go to school and they can't afford to get an education. And they're going to have to go hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, right? $100,000 in debt to get an education and pay that for the rest of their life. Not my kids. They saw what I had to, to work, and they've chose themselves to just go to work and, get blue collar jobs and raise their kids the same way that I had to, because it's just not feasible for them. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that we're still doing this to our kids. We are strapping them with such a debt and then pushing them out the door and saying, get out there and get a start. But start out, $70, $80, $100,000 in debt. But good luck. So yeah, sadly, this is just the Dems playing their games, and borrowers eligible for debt relief. So 21% are 25 years and under, only 21%. So there's your kids right there. That's our younger generations. 44% are 26 through 39 years old. Now, these are people who went to school, and who knows how many are actually working in the field that they went to school for, because we know a lot of them aren't. and 35% are 40 years or older. 35%. And, you know, we know, and the government knows, that they'll get that money back, because as soon as they hit Social Security age, then they can tap their Social Security. I mean, how horrendous is it that we expect seniors to live on less than $1,000 a month, and then if you had student debt loan, oh, they'll come take $200 or $300 out of it because they need their cut out of that money. And it's just, it's not living. It is not living. I see so many seniors, you know, just doing whatever they can to eat and make the bills, you know, and we keep strapping them down. So if the Dems were really serious about getting some of the progressive vote back, they would have actually gone in and drafted some legislation that would have fixed some of these fucking problems, not just band-aided it. So there you go. More crumbs from the Dems. Vote blue no matter who, right? Not this girl. Not this girl. You know, you guys know how I feel about third parties, but I do absolutely believe that we still have to vote. We still got to get our voices out there, but we have to use it as a form of protest. That's my votes for the last 6 years have been protest votes. And that's how people vote nowadays. We were talking about that with Farron the other day, right? People don't vote for the candidate they like anymore. They vote for, I don't want so-and-so to win, so I'm going to vote for this person. And yet again, we're set up to do that all over again come 2024 with the same goddamn characters. I mean, we are just stuck in the worst loop when it comes to this crap. And will it ever end? I don't know. I kind of think not, because they love it by design. Oh, let's see what else. Oh, did you guys see this? Harvey Weinstein granted an appeal in New York sexual assault conviction. So let's see. I know I put his statement on here. Let me see if I can find it. So he says, he maintains his innocence in a statement to ABC News Wednesday. I am innocent of these charges, and I'm so grateful for my attorneys for working hard and smart on this. Their hard work will help me prove my innocence in the end. Yeah, okay. I look forward to this opportunity to be heard by the New York Court of Appeals. So we all knew this, right? We all knew this. I knew this. I think we even talked about it many times. We talked about Weinstein, and that is how they rehabilitate him after they put him away for a little bit, like Cosby, right? Cosby paid his debt to society by doing a year or 18 months, whatever he did. And we're going to see the same shit with Weinstein too. Money is power, and power doesn't sit in prison and rot for the rest of their lives. We know that. And so let's not be shocked when the Court of Appeals says, oh, well, something was done wrong on this trial. One T wasn't crossed and I wasn't dotted. Something procedural will probably get him off, would be my guess. Just like Cosby. Yes, I agree. So, you know, these guys, they don't go away. They don't. Not forever. They don't sit and rot. Yep, doesn't it make you mad? It makes me mad too. And, you know, honestly, Epstein, if he would have lived, we would have seen the same shit too, you know. It is terrible. Okay, so, oh, one more story of the day, and then we'll get into our deep dive. So did you see this? This is police officers taking homeless, I don't know, 9 or 10 towns over, and just dumping them in a residential area. It's like I said last week, the mentality from law enforcement and our officials is to push them out of their town, like fire ants, right? You want to push the fire ants out of your yard into your neighbor's yard. When I lived down south, you can't get rid of them. They're there. You just want to push them out of your yard. So I told you that's what they're doing, and here's proof that that's what they're doing.
Now at 9, a drop-off service that's causing outrage among many in San Francisco. A San Rafael police officer was caught on video leaving a homeless man in San Francisco's Richmond district here. Thank you for joining us tonight on Crown 4 News at 9, everybody. I'm Grant Lotus.
And I'm Vicki Liviakis. The San Francisco City Attorney's Office now investigating the incident. Our Crown 4's Amanda Harry spoke with the city attorney and has a look at the video.
San Francisco is not a dumping ground.
That's San Francisco City Attorney David Shu's reaction after seeing this video. It appears a police officer is dropping off a man experiencing mental illness and homelessness in the residential area of 14th Avenue and Lake Street. In these photos taken by neighbors, you can clearly see the vehicle is marked with San Rafael police.
I think someone mentioned there are like 9 cities between here and San Rafael. It's disturbing to think that another jurisdiction might drop someone who is homeless or is experiencing mental health challenges in the middle of a residential neighborhood with no services or resources around it.
This video is timestamped at 5:27 p.m. on July 30th. About 10 minutes later, San Francisco police officers were getting calls to respond to the area. SFPD says, quote, officers assigned to Richmond Station responded to the area of 14th Avenue and Lake Street regarding a person in distress. Officers arrived on the scene and located an adult male subject. Officers summoned medics to the scene, and the subject was transported by personnel from SFFD to a local hospital for treatment. I reached out to the San Rafael Police Department, and they provided this statement. We would like to apologize to the city and county of San Francisco, specifically the neighborhood where we dropped off this man. We would also like to apologize to the first responders, police and fire department, who had to deal with this person after we left. The San Rafael Police Department does not have a policy to take people to other jurisdictions and just leave them without any notification or approval. We're taking this incident seriously, but are not allowed to comment further due to an ongoing personnel investigation. City Attorney Hsu says his office has dealt with a similar issue in the past.
A number of years ago, our office filed a lawsuit against the state of Nevada for improperly busing psychiatric patients to San Francisco.
He says they'll continue to look into this incident and may file charges as well. At the very least, he wants other agencies to know San Francisco won't tolerate things like this.
Any jurisdiction that's thinking of doing something similar to what we think may have happened should think twice. We will ensure that there's accountability for any jurisdiction that's proven to engage in behavior that is violating the law here.
Hsu says video evidence like this will help with their investigation. Amanda Harry, Cron 4 News.
Oh, I actually thought I cut that. How terrible. How terrible for somebody who's in the throes of a mental health crisis. It's bad enough they're on the streets with no support and the little bit of stuff that they have, and then they just get ripped out of the community that they're in and dumped in another community. I mean, this is just heartless. It is fucking heartless. There's no other way to describe what we are doing about unhoused people in this country as heartless. And I'm glad that they took ownership of it. I think they had no choice because there's a video of it. And, you know, maybe it'll lead to something good. At least maybe they'll stop doing it there. But we know it's happening all over the country, you know. I live on the outskirts of Seattle, so I'm about, you know, 2 hours from Seattle. And it's always said that they bus the people out of Seattle and they end up here, and we're called the end of the world because it's pretty much the end, the ocean, Pacific Ocean's right there. And I've been to a lot of city council meetings and a lot of local meetings where they're like, oh, that's just not true. These are our people from our community. And I absolutely believe that that is true. You know, there's a certain amount that have lived here their whole lives that are just now homeless. But I have also been in many NA meetings and AA meetings where somebody will sit down and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm here because I'm trying to get clean and I had to get away and I just got on a bus and they sent us here. So I have heard both sides of that happening where I'm at, but we know it's happening all over. And till we actually start taking this as the disaster and emergency that it is, nothing's going to get fixed. And we know that, right? Is FEMA going to come in and start taking care of Kensington Avenue and Philly, you know, LA? FEMA should have responded to all of those areas by now. If a hurricane had caused that many people to be displaced, you better bet your ass FEMA would have been there. But FEMA's not there now. So Al Walski, thanks so much for the super chat. I'm celebrating independent media commentary. Oh, I thank you. You're so sweet. We appreciate the support. Let's see. I just want to make sure Aspen Fallen. Welcome. So glad you made it this morning. Okay, guys, Now we're going to get into the deep dive I've been working on for a week now. So let me get us over
Now
there.
at 9,
come on.
drop-off service.
Karen taught me how to get around that. So first off, I want to say explicit content, you know, every kind of warning I can give you. We're going to be talking about addiction and prostitution, and there's some very explicit things that get said during a couple of these interviews that I'm going to bring you guys. So if you're sensitive or clutch your pearls, you know, now's the time for you to take a break. So let's see, I want to fix my paneling. There we go, I fixed it. Okay. So this is the story of Amanda Rabb. Amanda Rabb was a young girl who was living on the streets of LA, and she was working as a prostitute. Well, a company, there's so many different players. I'm just going to show you guys this, and then we'll get into it because I got to break it down and tell you guys all of the different players. So let's just play this, give you a little taste of what I'm talking about, and then we'll start breaking it down.
Joining us today as we gather to celebrate the incredible yet tragically short life of Amanda Rabb.
Some people don't get the chance to get older. Some people have their lives taken from them without their consent. You know, why should we need to hide that?
Y'all, she is literally screaming for help and telling us.
Oh my God! You guys could have asked on me. I don't want no girl close to my age doing my thoughts and video gaming me, so.
We're going to use Amanda as a case study. We did some virtual reality exposure therapy, so we put her in some triggering environments. We're going to be documenting exactly how we're getting Amanda into treatment.
She first went on there and she looked completely different. Then the next time she go on there, she looked worse, and she get worse and worse and worse.
The way that you get somebody that doesn't want to get help into treatment is through something called an LPS conservatorship. And that's what we're using for Amanda.
When I was smoking, I'm like in the cut, and then I'm going to get murdered. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm behind the scenes, I'm annoying everybody, and then I get murdered.
She had passed away. They did the autopsy. They looked at her medical records.
What the fuck? Oh!
Now, as y'all know.
And so I'm just going to read it word for word of what we got. The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
I have those autopsy results. I called those statements lies. As a result, I'm getting sued for defamation. Facts ain't defamation.
I know it's hard to read that, but I just didn't want to do two cuts to get to the next info. So this is hashtag
In the
Justice
last
for Amanda
episode,
Rabb.
we were discussing the sudden, unexpected passing of Amanda Rabb. Now, as you would have seen on part 1 of Virtual Reality Hell, Amanda was taken off the streets as a subject and eventually treated as a case study for an experimental virtual reality treatment program that used virtual reality that was not FDA approved for any medical purpose.
Hi, I'm Limi Abramovich, and I'm the founder of Autonomous User Rehabilitation Agent, or AURA for short.
To help or cure addiction? I don't really know. So we're right in the middle of that investigation, and what we're about to look into is how Amanda actually passed away.
Okay, so that gave you a little taste of who we're talking about. We're talking about Amanda Rabb, and we're talking about the channel, the YouTube channel, Soft White Underbelly. Now, I've featured Soft White Underbelly many times. You know, if you've ever watched Mark Leita's channel, I think that's how you say it, Leita. His channel, he basically, what he does is he does interviews with people who you don't, you know, normally see on YouTube, junkies, prostitutes, you know, just people down on their luck. It's that freak show aspect. If it was 100 years ago, it would be what you paid a dime to go see in a circus tent, that type of stuff, right? And he has made a ton of money doing it. He has a huge channel. He has millions of followers and millions of views on all of these different interviews that he does. Now, Amanda Rabb comes in, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, and he starts interviewing her intermittently. So every few months she'd stop by. And I have no idea how he gets these people to come and do these interviews. I don't know if he's offering them something or if they're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. But I kind of feel like maybe he gives them $20 or something. That's my speculation. I'm just saying. I feel like he's enticing them with something for them to do these interviews. So she comes in and she starts doing interviews every couple of months, and you're going to see, because I brought a lot of the clips, her demise from the beginning to ultimately the very end, where they helped get her into treatment with Lima. And we'll get into who Lima is. Lena owns Aurora, the virtual reality treatment program, and I have to be really, really careful about what I say in this, and that is because the few YouTubers I've seen cover this story have been hit with defamation lawsuits. And so that's BJ Investigates. She's doing a great job. BJ Investigates got her start as a Free Britney Spears supporter. You know, she was out there fighting against the conservatorship that we saw Britney in, and we see so many other stars kind of get shoved into. And because of that, she started investigating other conservatorships around the country. And as you might have heard, Bam Margera, who is a well-known star, he was one of the Jackass guys on MTV, Wild Boys, where they do the stunts and pranks and those type of things where they pretty much are injuring themselves. Well, it started out with rumors of him being in a conservatorship, which are just, I'm going to say rumors because I don't know if that was exactly the right term to use to describe what Bam is in. But we're going to start with Amanda and we're going to end with Bam. So I'm going to walk you through all of these. And first I want to talk to you about BJ. So BJ Investigates is the channel who has really brought a lot of this to light. She has done some amazing research, and she's got probably about 10 hours of videos out there. If you want to go out and watch, I hope that all of you will go out, look at this on your own, and come up to with your own conclusion. And I think the reason I'm so interested in this case is because of the VR treatment. You know, I really tackle addiction on my channel and talk about addiction, and to see that they're trying a new method of treatment and how it's becoming almost a transhumanish version of treatment really piqued my interest. So that's why I got into this. Let me see, where am I at? Okay, I want to get to the next one. Don't start again. Okay. So this is BJ. So we'll just list this down, and then I will take you to BJ's GoFundMe and really tell you what's going on with her.
Of this video, this is not part 2 of the Amanda Rabb story, but I do have an update for y'all about the story. Basically, Lima's suing me. I honestly didn't want to go to court. I was trying to stay out of court. Y'all heard me say that. But alas, here we are. Part 2 of Amanda Rabb's story is definitely coming, and I have a lot more to say. In the meantime, unless I want to devote literally every waking hour to fighting this lawsuit because Lima has hired celebrity defamation attorneys, I'm gonna need some legal assistance. I do have 2 very great lawyers who I actually trust and are very smart, and they are prepared, competent, and ready. But I have faith in them. And so in the meantime, while I'm continuing to tell this story, it would really mean a lot to me, and I would really appreciate if y'all could pitch into the legal fund. I'm gonna put it across the screen right here. I'm gonna link it below. I really don't like to ask for stuff. I don't, and it's kind of like embarrassing to have to do it. But the truth is the truth. What is right is right. Amanda Rabb was taken from the street where she had been living for years. and put into court-ordered treatment. The person responsible for Amanda's treatment and care is Lima Yevremovich. Amanda spent months in a rehab center before she was used as a case study with Lima's experimental virtual reality drug and schizophrenia treatment.
We're going to use Amanda as a case study.
1 month later, Amanda Rabb was found dead in the court-ordered treatment center.
She had passed away. It's been a really, really big shock for us.
And then Lima,
They cry.
months and months after Amanda died, went back again onto Mark Leta's channel, Soft White Underbelly, and appeared as the star of a video with 1.6 million views entitled Amanda Autopsy Results. And in the Amanda Autopsy Results video, Lima said that Amanda's cause of death was a seizure disorder. It was not. That was not true. And so I started making videos about it, calling that a lie. And now I'm getting sued over it. We got to live where the truth is the truth and a lie is a lie. This is not just my story. This is Amanda Rabb's story. This is a story about a broken system. This is a story about the truth. How is our money being used? How are very powerful men using their platforms? To what end? Who pays the price? This is our story. And Lima Yevremovich doesn't want me to keep telling it.
Okay, so that's BJ, and she's being sued. Now, I started following her when she was covering the Britney Spears conservatorship, and then she dove into, anybody else that we knew had a conservatorship out there and started looking at it. There's a couple of people that are responsible for some of these conservatorships that we're seeing out there with these high-powered stars, and if you even say their name, they slap you with a cease and desist, or they're coming for defamation on you. And, when you're a small YouTube channel and you're doing your own research and you're just doing your thing, and a powerful entity that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars comes at you and says, I'm going to sue you out of existence, you shut your mouth, right? But that's not what BJ's doing. BJ's not shutting her mouth. So I'm going to show you her GoFundMe. Let's see, screen 3. There we go. And just read you what it says. She's raised $23,000. And she says, hi, my name is BJ. I'm a law tuber and independent journalist working to expose corruption and teach the people about our rights. My primary goal is to help create a world where all people can enjoy freedom, liberty, and autonomy over their own health choices, regardless of their mental health diagnosis. She started with the Free Britney movement, quickly realized how deep and wide the corruption runs with these damn conservatorships, right? It's always about money. Let's see. Recently, I investigated a mysterious, unexpected passing of Amanda Rabb, who appeared in several episodes of the popular YouTube channel Soft White Underbelly. I quickly discovered the details surrounding Amanda's passing were incorrectly relayed to the public, and nobody ever made an effort to clarify the record with the facts. So, armed with publicly available records, I did just that. And when I called this false and incorrect, inaccurate statements lies, I got sued for defamation. So I know you can find her GoFundMe down at the bottom of her channel, BJ Investigates. And I just think that us as YouTubers, myself as a YouTuber, I'm out here to support other people fighting for truth and telling truth. And that's what she's trying to do. And I'm not going to make accusations against anybody, but if you go out there and you watch all of the videos, and I spent the whole day yesterday watching videos, and I probably didn't watch all of them. There's so many of them out there about this. So let's go to the next slide and we'll start breaking down. Okay, so here's some of the players. Screen 3, there we go. Okay, so Amanda Rabb, of course, she's deceased. I would call her victim, but I don't know if I can say that without getting sued. And then you got Lima Jabramovich, right? When I heard that name, I was like, oh my God, I wonder if she is related to the other one. Come on, Abramovich, right? The one that does the blood bathing and the art. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah, the one that hangs out with all of the crazy kooks like Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, but no, there is no relation there. So then you have BJ Investigates, which is a law tuber who actually has done a lot of reporting on this. And then, of course, you have Soft White Underbelly, Mark Leda, whose channel is out there. You can go check it out. And then you have Bam Margera, who has rumors of him being in a conservatorship. But I think by the end of this, we won't be calling what he's involved in a conservatorship, but court-ordered treatment is the way I see it. So just to give you a little breakdown of what we're talking about and who we're talking about. Okay, so this is Amanda, and I think we're getting into her story. So we're gonna actually start seeing clips from her.
I produce the videos that you see on my channel, Soft White Underbelly.
Mark gets into people's stories, those living on the fringes, drug addicts, prostitutes, gang members. You shot thousands of videos. You're super prolific.
4,000 so far.
4,000, okay.
I spent most of my career helping wealthy corporations become even wealthier. I wanted to do something that mattered more in the world. Amanda, where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Do you see that you're kind of getting worse and worse every time we speak? You're going to do whatever it takes to get your money for crack. So if your dad and I give you a little bit of cash. All right, so Lima Yabramovich. You have a company called Aura.
Amanda is the most difficult case. We're going to be documenting exactly how we're getting Amanda into treatment. The way that you get somebody that doesn't want to get help into treatment is through something called an LPS conservatorship. It feels like a betrayal to that person, but at the same time, Amanda's in a safe place now. She had passed away. It's been a really, really big shock for us.
I'm like in the cut, and then I'm gonna get murdered. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm behind the scenes, I'm annoying everybody, and then I get murdered. And I don't want no girl close to my age doing my thoughts and video gaming me, so nah, I'm not feeling it.
Sometime in February, I was on the internet, definitely not minding my own business, and someone told me, this guy, you know, you vaguely remember from your childhood, Bam Margera.
I'm Bam Margera.
An actor from Jackass.
And I feel like kicking my dad's ass all day today.
Is in a conservatorship.
So yeah, he's in a program, and the good thing is now is he's under a conservatorship.
And I went to the media.
The last person I left is Dr. Phil, or else I give up.
It was unidentified callers whenever the callers were clearly identified.
I went there thinking I was going to do 30 days, but they insisted that I do 90 days.
You're not going to find anything in the media. And again, like, I had to go to the court document. Searched in Pinellas County, found and confirmed that Bam was in some type of conservatorship. It was sealed, but some information was available.
Having bipolar disorder, taking Adderall, none of those are reasons for conservatorship.
One of those things was the name Lima Yabramovich as the petitioner. The petitioner on a conservatorship is usually the person who wants to be the conservator, but again, it was sealed, so we have no 100% way of knowing whether it was Lima. I can say with certainty now, Lima was his guardian in a Maricopa County conservatorship. So the next thing was Googling her to see if I could find any information out on her. One of the very first results that came up for Lima was her appearance on a YouTube channel called Soft White underbelly. Now, this YouTube channel is run by a photographer called Mark Leta. Basically, what I was able to figure out is he interviews people mainly in the Skid Row area. A lot of the people who he interviews are without homes. They often struggle with substance use issues, dependence, etc.
You know, people say, oh, what you're doing is exploitive all the time. Look, a hotel, the hotel I'm staying at while I'm here in Tampa, they're exploiting my need to sleep. So the restaurant that I had breakfast at is exploiting my hunger. Everything is exploitive. Yes, they're exploitive. If I take a drug addict and I do an interview with her, she takes the hit because she's been made to look bad. No, I didn't trick her into doing that. She came to me, or I might have asked her and said, you know, but I tell everybody right up front, like, this is going to be on YouTube. How much drug addiction can you actually watch? You know, it's like but people love those. You know, you put up an attractive female heroin addict, that'll get a lot of views.
Okay, so that's just a little introduction into Soft White Underbelly and Mark. So yeah, he's been accused of exploiting these people for his own gain. And yeah, this is very disturbing, Kate, and nobody's talking about it because they're scared because this Lima has some power. She has some money. And, you know, I talk about narcissists all the time. You know, if you're watching the CC Gals with Fair and Balanced, you know, Fair and Franzak and I, we always are looking at narcissists. And I'm sorry, this Lima woman screams narcissist to me. And I reached out to BJ and said, follow the money because somebody big is backing her for her to have the power that she can. You know, like she said, this all started with her saying, what? Bam was in a conservatorship. So she went and looked it up. And if this woman had power of attorney over him in Maricopa County and in Florida, you know, who's paying for these court filings? How does a total stranger come in and petition to take over somebody? You know, I know that Bam Margero's got, you know, a very supportive family, his mother, April, his dad. I know, you know, we'll talk about who's controlling his money, but this is just crazy to me. I mean, I guess if you went to the parents and said, I'm going to help them, will you help me? I think that's how she's facilitating these conservatorships that she's getting. Now, not to be confused with Luann Taylor, who's got her own conservatorship racket going on, who's coming and suing people. But I think she's coming at it from a different angle because these are court ordered. She waits for people to be ordered into court. And that's how his dad is dead. His dad died? Really? Oh, his real dad, or his stepdad controls his money now. Well, I brought a clip about that, so we'll talk about that. Let's look at some videos, Mark Leta's videos of Amanda.
I produced the
So this was her very first one.
And you like it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Listen to the stuff he says to her.
It supports all your bills and drug habits and everything else.
Yeah.
Pretty girl like you probably makes nice money.
Yeah.
And what do you charge for a date?
Like $20 to $30. Sometimes it depends on who you are. If you're real cute, I'll suck you up for 5 or 10. You know what I mean? I do that all the time.
And you have oral sex or intercourse or
everything? I do everything. Well, I just started having sex on the blade. I call it the blade. So I just started having sex on the blade.
And where?
Before I just gave head.
Got it. And where do you go to do this? In the car?
I think he enjoys.
We go to alleys. It's real scary because I feel like I'm dodging a murder, so
yeah, you are.
It gets scary.
Okay, so that was her very first, but look at the type of questions he's asking her. You know, been around pervs my whole life, and I'm sorry, those questions, I mean, I know he's trying to get information out there and make it salacious so people will click, but I think at some level he is getting some enjoyment from doing these. So this was a couple of months later. Aaron says if I click in the middle it moves, but it didn't. So, I mean, you can just see how quickly she declines, and so this is the second one she did.
All right. What is your name?
Amanda Rob.
Amanda?
Yeah.
And where'd you grow up, Amanda?
LA.
Tell me about your family. You grew up with both of your parents?
Yeah, I grew up with my auntie and uncle. They took me in because I lived with my dad. He turned out to be a molester, so his wife left him. So now I live downtown LA as a prostitute, and I'm a crackhead.
You do crack?
Yeah.
And where do you stay? You're in a tent?
No, I just walk the streets all night
Oh, you
and
do?
day. Yeah.
And
I'm a clone.
Yeah, okay. So she says that she was raised by her aunt and uncle. Her dad was a M-word, a molester, and that she had to leave home, and that's why she's on the streets. Now, as we go, her story, it changes from interview to interview, and I think at the very end, there's an interview with her where she kind of explains where some of this came from. So we'll just get into her next interview. That didn't work, Farron. There we go.
Don't let anybody make you believe that if you fall right now, you can't get up. Don't let nobody make you believe that you too old.
He's the one who
Don't
puts
let
us
nobody
this
make
over
you
this.
believe that where you are, it's too hard for God. You took your eyes off him. Oh, don't think that God, if you call on him, he won't help you. Because the Bible says.
Why he dubbed that over that, I don't know.
Hi, Amanda. Hi.
Yeah, I lost my voice.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing that. I lost my voice because, they don't want me to say much. Or,
How'd you lose your voice?
basically, you know what I'm saying? I go so hard. I tell the truth so much. The truth is out there. That's good. You know what I'm saying? It's showing where we are in this country. And, you know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. But I don't think they should be forever. And I do need to relax and enjoy life.
So that was like the third or fourth. There's so many more. I only brought you a few examples of them. You can go watch. I think there's like 15 of them, interviews with her every couple of months. So this is my speculation. This is what I assume and I think is happening. I think that he has like a studio down in the slums, and these people on Skid Row know that if they go do an interview that he'll give them something. I'm just going to assume and say $20, $30, $40, whatever. If they're hard on their luck, they can go in there and do an interview. And by watching all of her different interviews, it's almost like she took on a new persona every time. She kind of would stick to her story, but I've been around a lot of crackheads in my life, and I've seen a lot of alcoholism and addiction, and you learn to read through the lines when they're talking. So a lot of times it sounds like everything they're saying makes no sense at all. But when you understand the branches that their mind are reaching out for, you start to understand what they're trying to convey. And I really did feel like she was just acting, like she was just telling him what he wanted to hear for his show so that way he could get clips. I really do feel that's what is going on with that. But that's just my own personal opinion, and I'm allowed to have my own personal opinion without suing
Don't
me.
let anybody make you believe.
Why he put that over the top of it. How disgusting, right? Okay, so let's get into Lima Juramovic, the founder of Aurora, which is Autonomous User Rehab Agent. So that's what Aurora stands for. User Rehab Agent. I don't even know what that would mean, but and so she runs the Juramovic Institute of Behavior and Brain Sciences, having lived the implications of severe mental illness firsthand through her loved ones, Lima has created a virtual reality program that builds and provides the highest quality virtual reality and digital treatment tool for mental health, substance abuse, and addictions. The VR solution targets contributing factors such as trauma, anxiety, depression, high-risk personality traits, and control of virtual environment to form a new behavior pattern, bridging the gap between inpatient and outpatient facilities. The VR program offers solutions to keep patients on track to reduce relapse and rate of recidivism. And okay, so that's pretty crazy. I mean, the VR solution targets trauma, anxiety, depression, and high-risk personality traits. So basically she's taking people off the street that are fighting addictions and mental illnesses and strapping a VR into their face and then putting them in environments. So when she says environments, and I couldn't find a recidivism. Yeah. I couldn't find an example of what it looks like from the VR, what they're seeing, but from the way they describe it, they say like they'll put you back on Skid Row, and then they'll have people come up to you and tempt you, or the VR will be like you're in a bar and you'll have alcohol around you. And so the premise is that you will learn to say no and learn defense mechanisms so that way you won't use. So keep in mind, this is all experimental, and I could not find any medical background for Lima. I don't think that she has a doctorate or has, done studies focused on 12 steps or rehab programs. I'm shocked that somebody this young would have the financial backing to do this, and then to go partnership with these big rehab facilities. We're talking some of the nicest rehab facilities, around are letting her come in and try her program out at their rehab facilities. I just, there's so much more that needs to be researched, and it's mind blowing. Like, what? There's no standard. They're just letting this woman in with her experimental therapies to treat addicts. It's very confusing. So let's see, what do I got next? I think I got another clip. Okay, yeah. See if this one breaks down the actual treatment.
That are wrong with the country.
And so Lima was on Mark Laita's channel.
I give the doctors the tools to see, so if you tell me you're fine, and I look and I can see that you're not fine, addicts are master manipulators.
And I was like, well, this is strange. Why is Bam Margera's conservator on Mark Laita's channel talking about virtual reality?
We also use virtual reality so we can put patients in triggering environments.
So she talks about her company Aura, which is a digital health startup, but essentially what the startup does is uses virtual reality goggles on people with drug addiction. And I quickly discover that Lima and Mark had teamed up to help one of Mark's subjects. Lima ended up being in charge of this subject's life, and now this subject, whose name is Amanda Rabb, was dead. I start looking into Lima, and turns out this is not her only and first startup. She had some company, at least one, maybe two. It seemed like the type of program you could do to shorten your jail time or something, and that's all I was able to tell factually. Now, what I can speculate is that Lima was looking for a targeted group of test subjects, and prisoners seem easy, right? Because she could have easily gotten government funding if she was helping prisoners. So that didn't work. I don't know why. That was just my assumption. And then you see Aura.
All right, so Lima Yabramovich. You have a company called Aura. And what do you guys do?
So we're all about data-driven healing. Our goal is to use technology to scale affordable, high-quality treatment services. We also use virtual reality so we can put patients in triggering environments. And for example, we put a patient in a bar.
Walking VIP, don't need no drink, take his buddy.
Or for our veterans, we put them in a war zone. They're just not willing to let someone in. So you kind of have to find a way to gain their trust.
Yeah, data-driven healing. What in the fuck is that? What is that? And from a woman who doesn't look like she has much understanding of actual mental health, because remember, she said that she lived it through the implications of severe mental health firsthand through loved ones. That she's lived mental illness. So now she's an expert on how to treat psychosis. Because let's be clear, a lot of people who are on heavy narcotics, and I'm talking, you know, meth, crack, cocaine, fentanyl, opiates, after so long, a lot of them will slip into a drug-induced psychosis. And I've personally been there, not in the last 20 years, but I do understand what it is. And when you believe what you saw, even after you sober up, you still believe what happened before. I mean, it took me getting sober, and it took many years for me to look back and go, oh, that was all in my head. Like, that is psychosis. And yeah, she's just out here with her experimental treatment, gonna treat everybody, waltzing into these rehab centers, and you know, getting these people who are in dire help at their most vulnerable state, right? When they've got a judge telling them, I'm gonna throw you away and lock up the key unless you do what I tell you you're gonna do. So that was just a little breakdown of that.
Wrong with the country.
Oh, come on. Okay. So this is Lima and Amanda when she got her scholarship. So so Lima and Mark got together, and Lima said, I need a guinea pig. And Mark said, oh, I know the perfect one for you. She's like the worst I've seen. And they get her a so-called scholarship to get help.
Cool.
All right, so Lima, you're back.
Yes, I am.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So last time you were here, you spoke about how we're going to do a scholarship. Is that what you're calling it?
Yes. Yeah.
For somebody that has appeared on my channel.
Yes.
And we talked long and hard about who it could be, and there's lots of people that are good candidates.
And I also asked for comments from your viewers of who they wanted, right? Because the funding is coming from the viewers, and we want to listen to them. And we had an overwhelming response for one special person. And
yeah, and I also told you, like, it depends on how big a challenge you want.
Yes.
And there's some people that are good for, that would be perfect for this.
Yeah.
But they would probably be easier.
Yeah.
Easier to deal with.
Yes.
And who's the hardest?
Amanda is the most difficult case.
Yeah. So you chose Amanda.
Yes, I chose Amanda.
Which I think is very brave of you.
Thank you. And I chose Amanda with you specifically because you and I both discussed this. And not only does Amanda have a lot of people praying for her and a lot of people that really want to see her get better, but Amanda is the poster child of an impossible case. So when people look at Amanda, I think it's really easy to think the word hopeless. And when I look at Amanda, I see someone that's trapped and lost. And I think that if we can use Amanda as a template for what care should be, and that we can save Amanda's life, then everyone can see Amanda as, you know, a template for hope. So, you know, I don't believe in an impossible case, but I don't think that there's a better candidate than Amanda. And so we plan to document how we're helping Amanda, because one of the most challenging things about her is that she does not want to go to treatment. She doesn't want help.
She didn't want help.
When it comes to addiction, when it comes to mental illness, a lot of times people don't want to get better. They don't want the help.
Not sometimes.
90% of the time.
98% of the time
Yeah.
they go. They might say it here in an interview, but
yeah.
You catch them after the interview and say, hey, would you like to do this, that, or the other? And
And then they might even actually go into treatment.
For a day or two.
And then they leave. And it's really, really tough. So we're going to be documenting exactly how we're getting Amanda into treatment, how we're putting her into these programs. And the reason for that is because I think that Amanda, when she gets better, that she's going to be an inspiration for a lot of people.
Okay, so she said she was going to document the whole entire process, right? So there is a few videos out there of the treatment facility that she was in. I didn't bring that because it was on Lima's channel, and I really didn't want to raise Lima's attention to the fact that I was covering this. So that's why I didn't put it in the cover or my title either, because I just wanted to fly under the radar with you guys and just get this story out there for you guys to see. So I didn't bring that, but you can go to Lima's channel and see that. And I think, let's see, the next interview is after the treatment. So this is after they've gone to court and a judge has told Amanda that you're going to rehab and gives conservatorship pretty much of Amanda to Lima. So
cool.
One of these days, I'm hoping the next program won't be
So
this
Lima,
bad.
Yes.
as we just saw with Amanda, she's a different person.
That's a narcissist.
Yeah,
You've transformed Amanda.
Because our team is really good at what we do.
I think you knew what you were doing all along.
Yeah.
So just give us a little synopsis of what was involved in Amanda's rehab and why it's been so successful.
Absolutely. So Amanda was traumatized on a regular basis while she was living on Skid Row. And a lot of times when people are in that environment and they can't escape that environment, the reason that it's called mental and behavioral health is because when they can't express themselves, they start to act out how they feel. And so the case with Amanda, she was, you know, as you had described, some of the horrific circumstances where you'd constantly have to buy her clothes and you'd find her without clothes again. There was, you know, plus the abuse and the physical violence
as
and
I've
the
said
rape.
before, she was the worst case you could find on Skid Row.
Yeah, definitely. And
took a lot of courage for you to-
probably the worst case I've ever seen personally.
It took a lot of courage for you to decide that she was the one you wanted to try to help.
Yeah, but you know, we have a lot of confidence in what we do, and I really truly don't believe in an impossible case. I think that this just goes to show you not to give up on anybody. But the core factor is that Amanda's not a miracle. It's just a very structured system of how to do things. And if we can do this for everybody, we can save anyone.
Yeah, I really believe that now, because when we first started, I was like, oh man, this could go badly.
Definitely.
And I was amazed at how together Amanda is now. She's so clear-headed. She's so present.
Okay, so that was after, I want to say, 250 days in the rehab. So I brought an interview with Amanda. So this is while she's still in rehab, because mind you, they made her stay for like, I don't even know, like a year. And so she was clean. She did get clean. And there's some interviews out there of them at the rehab facility. Oh, thank you so much, Red Cloud. Love that little sticker, Jumpy. And DC, I'm so sorry to hear that. You know, here at this channel, we have nothing but compassion for everyday people and just trying to live their lives. And I'm so sorry. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so here she is after, totally different. Doesn't she look totally different? After she's been in rehab doing the treatment for, I want to say 255 days.
I have a hard time looking at you and visualize or imagining you were the same person.
Yeah, that was crazy. I watched the videos on Skid Row, and it's just like, schizophrenia is a true demon. And if you have schizophrenia, you gotta stop using so that you can see your true diagnosis and your true mental illness, because they can't diagnose you if you're on drugs. So you have to get off drugs first. And once I got off drugs, the schizophrenia just went away. So it was drug-induced schizophrenia.
So you see your problem as, you know, yes, you were addicted to crack, but you were also schizophrenic from the crack?
Right, it was from the crack. Once I stopped smoking crack, it went away.
Yeah, because I've seen other people down on Skid Row that were fairly normal, and then all of a sudden they just became like you were.
Yeah.
Out of their minds, and it wasn't just the drugs they were using. I think it's schizophrenia or something like that.
I mean, I was tripping, and the things that I accused my dad of in those videos is not true. I had schizophrenia. I had a mental illness where I hear voices, hallucinations, all that. So My dad has done nothing to hurt me. He's a great dad. He's always been there for me, and I really love him.
Well,
so I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, well, I can attest to that. I mean, you used to say everybody was a child molester.
Yeah.
I would just edit those out, but I did leave that
That's
one in.
from watching Steve Wilkos and Mari and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
you said it about your dad that one time, and I left it in because I didn't know who you were or your dad, and you were just some little street urchin that came into my studio with with no bra on, no shirt on even.
No shirt, no nothing.
He calls her a street urchin. You're just a street urchin. That tells me that's how he refers to all the people that are coming to do interviews for his channel. But, you know, she clearly says that her dad never did anything to her, even though in the previous interview you saw her say that. And she says, well, I just got that because of Steve Wilkos and Maury and Jerry Springer, right? So to me, that tells me when she was doing these interviews, she was thinking, make it Jerry Springer like, you know, just tell him whatever he wants to hear, make it salacious, make it crazy, I'll get paid, you know, go hit the streets. And that's the feeling I got from her interviews. So basically when you go and you watch all these interviews with her, after you know that, you look at it and you go, oh, well, okay, she was just acting for a lot of this, right? And as far as the drug-induced schizophrenia, I've witnessed it firsthand multiple times in my life. And yeah, these powerful drugs like crack and meth, if you're not dealing with the full deck and you get into one of these really deep, you will go into a psychosis. And like I said, you believe your psychosis for many, many years. Sometimes you always believe it, even after you get sober. So she looks good there. You can tell she's put a lot of weight on. When you go to rehab, they put you on a lot of medications, right? MAT, medically assisted treatment. So they're trying to help all of your mental issues, your nervousness, anxiety, depression, and they'll put you on a gamut of different drugs, Seroquel, Depakote, you know, all of the gamut that they do. And a lot of these cause you to gain weight rapidly. And not only that, being off the streets, having, you know, access to, you know, square meals, a lot of people put on weight. A lot of people, you know, pack it on fast. I know some of my loved ones, I've seen them go from 90 pounds to 200 pounds literally in a month. And that's just what happens when you're trying to get sober. So she's clean. And the next report we get about this is that she has passed at the rehab facility. So basically what we're told is she went to bed, they went in the next morning, she hadn't got up, they went in, she had passed in her sleep, is what they're saying, at the rehab facility. So they did an autopsy, and there's a lot of information out there about the autopsy, and they say that the only thing she had in her system was Tylenol. But the coroner does relate it to a seizure disorder. I don't know if they specifically say epilepsy or something like that, but is it just me, or do we always know that flashing lights and VR can set some people into seizures, right? That's what the whole flashing light warning is on YouTube channels, and it's so those who are seizure prone don't go into a seizure. So it just, me putting 1 and 1 together equaling 2 is, okay, you're treating her with VR and then she dies of a seizure disorder? Shouldn't somebody be looking into the safety of this? That's just my thought. That's just my speculation. I am not saying that Aurora Lima killed her. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying, can we have some medical professionals look into this and study this VR treatment before they continue to dish it out at treatment facilities and get guinea pigs off the street so they can keep doing this? That's the question I'm asking. I mean, okay, one death is all you needed to see that there's an issue. Maybe you should look into it more. That's just what I'm saying. So let's see. Oh, so I think this is the funeral. Oh, yeah. So Lima goes and throws her a huge funeral, and she, of course, is the keynote speaker at the funeral. And I'm going to play this for you, and then I'll tell you about the funeral.
I have a hard time looking at you.
Oh, come on.
Visualize. I have a hard time looking at you.
Why do I got to watch the same one 3 times over? Hoping when I go to the IO restream, I get past that.
For those of you who aren't familiar with how I met Amanda, I was originally introduced to her story by Mark. and viewers of Soft White Underbelly, who bombarded me with emails asking me to help her. When I originally looked up her interviews, my immediate reaction was that I wanted to save her.
Notice the casket in the background.
I wanted to protect her. I wanted to pull her out of the jet. And I wanted to teach her that life could be beautiful. What I wasn't expecting was how much, during my brief time with Amanda, that she would end up teaching me.
Okay, so the funeral's like an hour and a half long. You can go watch it. Lima paid for that whole production, and mind you that she was cremated. So I don't understand what the casket in the background is all about other than for effect and showmanship. That's kind of disturbing. I mean, there's even a video of them out there scattering her ashes on the beach, and the wind blows it back on the beach, and it's covering the people that dumped it. So we know for a fact that she was cremated. So yeah, that just speaks to Lima's showmanship. Let's see, what else do we got here? Oh, okay, so now let's talk about Bam and how now that Amanda has passed, and you know, now she needs somebody else. So she gets in I can't say it's a conservatorship, because it's not a conservatorship, because that's not how it's working for Bam, but she does have some legal control.
FEMA has created a virtual rehabilitation program. That sounds cool. Let's see what that's about. That builds and provides the highest quality virtual reality and digital treatment tools for mental health, substance abuse, and addictions. The virtual reality solution targets contributing factors such as trauma, anxiety, depression, and high-risk personality traits in controlled virtual environments to form new behavioral patterns. Bridging the gap between inpatient and outpatient facilities, the VR program offers mobile solutions to help keep patients on track to reduce relapse and the rate of recidivism. Now, remember, this is the woman who petitioned to put Bam Margera into a conservatorship. This is the woman who thanked Bam Margera on her business Instagram page for backing her company. And
okay, so her and Bam have been seen together multiple times, a party. She's just kind of always in the background lately when we see a surfacing of Bam Margera. Now, here's the thing. Bam went off the radar, I want to say about 8 weeks ago. He just disappeared, right? And TMZ, like they always do. We know TMZ is evil, right? We know they work for themselves, but they're not there to support the stars or care about the stars. They're there for the salacious headlines, and we know that they work hand in hand with like Britney Spears' dad, so that way they can put their narrative out there too. So or Amber Heard. I mean, come on, we know how much they kiss Amber Heard's butt. So I don't believe crap that comes from TMZ. But Bam did go missing. And here's just a little clip of this. So this was at the beginning of summer. There was a lot of reports that Bam had escaped a rehab facility and was screaming about what they were doing to him. And the result was they sent the cops to round him up and take him back.
Bam Margera has now been located and is back in rehab after getting involved with a dispute with the rehab providers and leaving the facility. Reports stated that at the time he was unhappy that he wasn't getting physical therapy for his wrist injury. He apparently broke his wrist or his arm in a skateboarding fall and has been trying to get treatment for that, which apparently led him to leave the facility. Now we have an update as he has been recovered. TMZ reports Bam is on the way back to the Florida rehab facility where he left earlier this week. He was found in a nearby hotel after he was reported missing. It says sources close to the Jackass star tell TMZ Bam shacked up in a hotel in Delray Beach after bouncing from the rehab facility, and cops and crisis intervention team located him Wednesday and are escorting him back to the treatment center. We are told he went back voluntarily and didn't fight it. Again, Bam is under a court order to be in this rehab facility. TMZ published photos of Bam reportedly on Tuesday night, where he appears to be in some sort of a restaurant or a sports bar. Bam, of course, recently celebrated 1 year of sobriety. It's unclear if Bam has relapsed or not.
Okay, so that was from June. Did I put the date on that? I want to say it was mid-June. So that was the Free Bam movement started around that time, because Bam was saying the reason that he left rehab is because he had a broken wrist and they were not giving him medical attention for it. He was in terrible pain, and that he just didn't want to go back because he couldn't have his phone. He wasn't allowed to listen to music. I can't imagine being in treatment and not having music. Music therapy is everything to me. I mean, I got sober on my own, but music helped me the whole entire way, man. When I was feeling down, didn't want to get up and, do something, to put some music on. Music heals the soul. I absolutely believe that. And just the fact that they wouldn't let him have, because he wasn't allowed to have his phone, he couldn't have music. All of our music's on our phone nowadays. So those are some of the reasons that he says he left rehab. And then they sent the Florida police, they whisked him up, and took him back to the rehab center. Now, we have got a couple of reports from Bam in the last 4 weeks. One of those via Steve-O's Wild Ride. If you ever watch that podcast, Steve-O was one of his castmates on the wildly popular Jackass. And Steve-O kept saying, no, we don't need to free Bam. Bam's fine. And so I brought a little clip of that, because they're saying that the YouTubers are blowing this out of proportion, that Bam is in a great program where he's getting help. He's been sober for a year, much like Amanda, right? Because Amanda was sober for 255 days, as far as we know. And so apparently sobriety is not the issue. So let's, here we go. Oh, I actually did it. So this was the intro to Steve-O's Wild Ride, where he brought Bam on. I want to say this was 4 weeks ago. Play? Oh, why are you not playing? Give me a second. Figure it out. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to Jimmy this one. That one doesn't want to play. Maybe Bam doesn't want, or Steve-O doesn't want me playing it. So here is actual interview with, we'll skip that one. But basically what that was that was the intro of Steve-O's Wild Ride, where he is just going off about how these crazy YouTubers and their conspiracy theories, that Bam is not in a conservatorship. His dad controls his money, is exactly what Steve-O said. You guys are saying that his dad passed. I thought that too, right? I thought his dad passed. Phil was his dad, right? I know that April and Phil always did take care of Bam's money and everything for Bam. That's his parents. So I'm not shocked to hear that they have control. But here's the thing. The courts separate your money and your physical being. So you can have somebody who takes care of your money and then have somebody else who makes all the advanced directives about your treatment or your body. So we saw that with Brittany, like her dad had control over this, and then somebody else had control over, her treatment decisions, those type of things. So apparently, because it's not money related, it's not a conservatorship for Bam, but it is court ordered, and he has this guardian that has the right to make decisions for him. So this is what Steve-O had to say. This was only a couple weeks ago.
Every which method. I'm like, all right, I'm only going to sip on White Claws from now on.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, all right, I'm only going to sip whiskey just every so once in a while. That didn't work out. All right, I'm just going to do white wine during dinner. That didn't work.
Sure.
I've tried it all, and I figured out that it just always turns into one glass, turns into two, then it turns into a bottle, turns into two bottles, and I'm out looking for booger sugar.
He said, I'm out looking for booger sugar. I guess that's what they call it. So there you see him. He is sober. It's an hour-long podcast. You can go watch it yourself. where Steve-O is very adamant that Bam is doing great, and all of you internet sleuths just need to shut the hell up and mind your own business. You know, if somebody would have stepped up for Amanda, maybe she'd still be here. I just feel like there's no actual medical professionals that are overseeing this crap. And I don't understand these facility centers that are working hand in hand with Aurora. And I don't see any medical research out there supporting any of this. Bam does look a lot like his dad, but you know, I don't know. Bam, I look at him and I just see a lot of pharmaceutical. Physically, I feel like they've got him on a lot of meds. He talks about that in the podcast with Steve-O, about the different meds that they've got him on and how they're making him sick, how they're making him gain weight. You know, when you're trying to get sober, that's a personal demon that you're fighting, and I just don't understand how having this other entity being Lima and Aurora can help. It floors me. So let me see, do I got anything else with this? Just the
every which method. I'm like,
I didn't get. Yeah, okay. So there you are, my breakdown of justice for Amanda Rabb. I you know, like I said, I'm not accusing anybody of hurting anybody. I'm not accusing anybody of conspiracy. I'm just saying that this is being talked about on YouTube. BJ Investigates has done an amazing job, and I didn't do her justice for the amount of research that she has done. Please go check out her channel. Follow her and help her out. I mean, we're just everyday people that sit down and do research, and then we bring it to you. And to be taking on major lawsuits from somebody who's got some backing like Lima, somebody big is backing that girl. Come on, look at how young she is. To have that kind of power in the treatment industry, you got some questions. I've got some questions. And yeah, try to follow the money, but we know how easy that's hid. So thank you guys so much for you know, going there with me, and I do hope that you'll check this out, inform your own opinions. You'll probably come out of it in the same place I was, with a lot of questions going, why is nobody overseeing this, and why are the judges and courts allowing this to happen, especially since it's experimental? So that's where I'm at, and I definitely don't want no VR strapped to my damn head and to have, you know, Skid Row put in my face. Why would they, you know? Yes, it's almost like shock therapy, right? Yeah, I agree. It's like a shock therapy type thing. Bam doesn't address it himself, just Steve-O, which is strange. Yes, I agree. It was so strange. I just got feelings from Bam like, Bam's just saying what he's supposed to be saying, and I don't think he feels that way. Or maybe he doesn't know. When you're so deep into addiction, maybe he's just jumping through the hoops. I don't know. Form your own opinion. Go check it out. So yeah, definitely check out BJ Investigates. And I can tell you, I will no longer be supporting Soft White Underbelly. If you haven't watched that channel, I mean, he goes to the Appalachians and like goes and finds, he calls them the fabulous whites, where they're like all inbred, and you know, he pretends to help these people or start them GoFundMe so people can help them. But I just feel it's so exploitative. He's just exploiting these people for clicks. And if he already works for big industry, you know, right? He's a photographer that works for corporate America. He definitely didn't need the most successful YouTube channel that he has. So I find it exploited. Let's see, what do we got here? When you hear your neighbor cough, but then you smell the weed. Oh, this is my Stoner Corner. Stoner Corner, we are green friendly here, and I believe that until we take the stigma off of marijuana, that, you know, we're not allowed to talk about it the way that we need to. When it is as socially acceptable to smoke a joint as it is to have a glass of wine, well, then we're doing something. So when they come for Granny's legal weed, but she ain't going back to those opiates. And that's the reality of it for me. Marijuana has replace so many pharmaceutical drugs that I was taking for relief, right? And I say I smoke it for my anxiety. People say, oh, it gives me anxiety. I say, well, then you got to smoke indica. It's like, it does help so many people. So let's not knock on marijuana. It helps a lot of people. Julian Assange, thank you guys so much for all your support getting me to DC to see to fight for hands off Julian Assange on October 8th. A bunch of us are going to come into town and we're going to go to the Department of Justice and protest them, which is funny because the Department of Justice is literally right across the street from the FBI and the Department of Energy, I want to say. Or is it the IRS? They're all on one block together. So basically we get to flip them all off, all four corners. It's always fun. And then, you know, of course, we always march down to CNN and Google, and we protest out front those places too. And, you know, they just love it. They wave at us from the windows. CNN anchors running from us at the front door. It's always been fun. So yeah, you can, this is my PayPal. PayPal's the best way to reach me. Thank you guys so much for your support. Let's see, what do we got coming up? We've got a Beauty and the Boomer. If you're just joining me for the first time, I do another show called Beauty and the Boomer where I sit with my best friend, the Boomer, Oz, and we just talk about everything crazy in the world. We have some laughs every Saturday night. We are satire. You know, you can only live in this reality for so long without just throwing your hands up in the air and saying, I just want to laugh at something. So that's what we do. And you can definitely catch me here on Trailer Park Pundit. So, oh, and please definitely go check out Rockfin, our Rockfin channel, which is Roar Media Live. We are women in independent media, and go watch Miss Amber King's Brave New Future. You want to talk about some deep dives that scare you. That's Amber King. You want to definitely be tuning into Brave New Future. So if you're not on the Rockfin, ROKFIN, please check it out. And I got a different closer for today because I kind of felt like, you know, the Violent Femmes was a little rough for the topic that we just did. So I love this song. It's a cover of Lana Del Rey's High by the Beach. And this is Holly Henry, 14 years old. She kills it. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in today. Catalytic Centaur, Aspen Falls, DC, SF Thomas. Hey, Indie News, I see you. Steven Shanahan. It's Cold Fusion Gaming. Yay. Red Cloud. Kate, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day where you're at. And thank you so much for the super chat, Aspen Falls. Good job. Yeah, I like to do these type of deep dives, but when you have that much information, it's hard to break it down and tell the story. And I'm learning. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you go check it out and do your own deep dive and form your own opinion. So you guys have a great day, and I will see you Saturday night.
Boy, look at you looking at me. I know you know how I feel. Loving you is hard, being here is harder. You take the wheel. I don't wanna do this anymore. It's so surreal. I can't survive if this is all that's real. All I wanted to do is get high by the beach, get high by the beach, get high. All I wanted to do is get by the beach, get by, baby, baby, bye bye. The truth is I never bought into your bullshit when you would pay tribute to me, 'cause I know that all I wanted to do is get high by the beach, get high, baby, baby, bye bye. Boy, look at you looking at me. I know you don't understand. You could be a bad motherfucker, but that don't make you a man. Now you're just another one of my problems. Because you get out of hand, we won't survive. We're sinking in the sand. All the Goodbye by the beach, goodbye, baby, baby, bye bye. The truth is, I never bought into your bullshit when you would pay tribute to me. Cause I know that all I wanted to do was get high by the beach, get high, baby, baby, bye bye. Lights, camera,